Hello friends, welcome back. Another video dealing with dividend policy. Now here we're going to look at another model called Gordon's model. And just like James Walter, Myron Gordon had also developed a model, a valuation model, which is similar to that of James Walter, whereby he argues that the dividend decision of a firm will affect the firm's value. Again, I repeat, according to Myron Gordon, the dividend policy and the dividend decision of a firm will affect its firm value. And his basic valuation model is based on the following assumptions. Now, I'm not going to go through these assumptions because I will make this material available. I'll put a link in the description box whereby you can gain access to this document. But let's look at Gordon's valuation model, where we have to find out the current market price of the share, and always remember that the goal of the firm is to maximize the shareholders' wealth. And how do you maximize shareholders' wealth? By maximizing the market price of the share. So any decision that a firm or a company takes will have to take into consideration, should remember that the market price of the share should be maximized. Now let's look at the Gordon's basic valuation formula. P is equal to E into 1 minus small b, the whole thing divided by small k, minus BR, small r, where P is the price per share at the beginning of year 0. That means the current market price of the share. E is earnings per share at the end of year 0. 1 minus b. Now this is where many students get confused, and they commit the silly mistake whereby they take 1 minus b as fraction of earnings the firm distribute by way of dividends. Many students I have noticed, they take 1 minus b as the retained earnings. Now 1 minus b is not retained earnings. 1 minus b is the dividend payout ratio, the fraction of earnings the firm distribute by way of dividends. Now b is the retained earnings, so the fraction of earnings the firm plows back is b. And K is rate of return required by shareholders. K. R is rate of return earned on the investments, made by the firm. And BR is the growth rate of earnings and dividends. So now let's just solve a problem, based on the Gordon's valuation model. So calculate the market price of a share of ABC Ltd if 1. B is 40%, B is 60%, B is 80%, by using Gordon's model when KE, the cost of capital, cost of equity capital is 15%, EPS is 30 rupees, and R is 14%, 15%, and 16%. So you have three rates here. And so first things first, before you solve any problem, write the valuation model. So PO is equal to E into 1 minus b, and k minus br. Alright, now let us solve this problem. In the first instance, R is less than K. R is lesser than K, where R is what? R is equal to 14% and K is 15%. So this is a declining firm when R is lesser than K. In the second instance, R is equal to K, where R is 15% and K is also 15%. And the third instance is where R is greater than K, where R is 16% and K is 15%. Now, so let's solve. Let's find out the current market price of the share if B is 40%. So if B is 40%, then 1 minus B should be equal to what? It will be equal to 60% or 0.6, right? So 1 minus 40% will give you 60%. Okay, so PO is equal to, E is given, E is earnings per share, into what is 1 minus B? We've just found out it is 60%, 0.6, divided by K. K is 0.15 minus B. B is 40%, so 0.4 into what? Now, what is R here? R is 14%, so 0.14. All right, and so that will be 18. Okay, if you calculate this, you'll get 0.094. So the price of the share will be rupees 191.49. All right, now again here, when B, anyway, it's the same thing. All right, so PO is equal to 30 into 0.6 divided by 0.15. K will remain the same, and 0.4 into, now here R is 15%, so it will be 18 divided by 0.09, which equals to rupees 200. Okay, and the third instance is where R is greater than K. When B is 40%, what will be the current market price of the share? 0.6. So this is 15 minus 0.4 times 0.16, because R is 16% here. All right, this will be 18 divided by 0.086. You'll get rupees 209. Okay. All right. Now, second instance, if B is 60%. So if B is 60%, then 1 minus B will be equal to 40% or 0.4. So PO is equal to 30 into 1 minus B is what? See? So 1 minus B is 40%, so 0.4 divided by 0.15. K will remain the same, and now B will be 0.6 into 0.14 equals to 12 divided by 0.066, which equals to rupees 181.8. Okay. Now, same thing here when B is 60%. So PO is equal to 30 into 0.4. All this remain the same except R. Now R here is 15%. Okay, so 0.15. You will get 12 divided by 0.06, which equals to 200. And here also, when B is 60%, so 30 into 1 minus B, which is 0.4, divided by K, which is 0.15 into 0.6 into 0.16. Why? Because R here is 16%. So you'll get 12 divided by, 0.054 equals to 222. Okay, and the third one, if B is, so we are done with 40%, 60% and 80%. Then 1 minus B will be 0.2, alright, 20% or 0.2, it's the same thing, okay. So PO is equal to 30 into 0.2 divided by 0.15 minus 0.8 into 0.14. You will get, this will be 6 divided by 0.038. When you solve that, you'll get rupees 157.89. Okay. PO is 30 into 0.2 divided by 0.15 minus 0.8 into 0.15. Alright, because R is 0.15, 15%. So it is 6 divided by 0.03. When you solve that, you'll get 200. Alright. Now this will change. Here it will be 16%. So it will be 6 divided by 0.022. You'll get rupees 272.7. Alright, so we have solved this problem. Again, to remind you, B here in this valuation model, B is what? Always remember, in this Gordon's valuation formula, B is nothing but fraction of earnings the firm plows back, and 1 minus B is the fraction of earnings the firm distribute by way of dividends. In other words, 1 minus B is the payout ratio. Now if 1 minus B is the payout ratio, then B again is the retained earnings, fraction of retained earnings. Now if you look here, as the fraction of retained earnings, okay, as it increases, in other words, as the dividend payout ratio decreases from 60% to 40% to 20%, all right, because 1 minus B is dividend payout ratio, all right. So as it decreases from 60 to 40 to 20, you will notice that the price per share, current market price per share, also decreases. You see that from 191.49, 181.8 and 157.89. So for a declining firm, according to Myron Gordon, the optimal dividend payout ratio should be 100%, because the higher the dividend payout ratio, the higher the market price of the share. And again, the firm's goal is to maximize shareholders' wealth by maximizing the market value of the share. So therefore, the optimal payout ratio for a declining firm where R is lesser than K should be 100%. But it's just the opposite for a growth firm where R is greater than K. You will notice that as the dividend payout ratio decreases, the price per share actually increases from 209 to 222 to 272.7. All right, so the optimal payout ratio for a growth firm, according to Myron Gordon, should be nil. That is the implications of the Gordon's basic valuation model. And for a normal firm where R is equal to K, you notice that, whether the dividend payout ratio is 60% or it is 40% or it is 20%, you notice that the price per share remains the same. So the optimal payout ratio for a normal firm where R is equal to K is irrelevant. Okay, so for a normal firm there is no optimum dividend payout. All right, it is irrelevant. So if you notice that you look closely at the Gordon model, it is almost the same like the James Walter model, except that the valuation formula, okay, the basic valuation formula changes. So this is how you solve a problem using Gordon's model. Stay tuned for 2 more problems using Gordon's model.